All right, what's up, everybody? We're live, I hope. And let's see here. Share screen, mute, edit. Okay, so I can't do what I thought I could do. I've been messing around today because what do we got? Two viewers? That's fine. I can start out with this. I got invited to this thing called Amazon Vine. I never even knew what this was, never heard of it before. But in exchange for leaving reviews on products, they'll send you free stuff. There's a catalog that you can just rummage through. Most of it's junk, but you'll find good stuff in there. And they'll send you free stuff. You leave a review, and then you just keep the stuff. And at the end of the year, they'll send you a tax form, so you'll have to pay some tax on it. But I've been able to pick up a bunch of things in the last few weeks that were on my list. Things for the kitchen, mostly things for camera gear and bicycling gear. And I picked up this webcam, and it looked really promising. It's like a CCTV camera, and it's got a nice lens with manual focus, manual aperture, and manual zoom. And it's a real solid body, really heavy weight. Like, this thing's a beast. And it was advertised as being a 4K camera with 60 to 100 frames per second, HD resolution, et cetera, and it's not. Unfortunately, I plugged it in, and I've been screwing around with it this afternoon. I even got a wall mount on Amazon Vine. I got some wall mounts to mount cameras to my wall in front of me, and I was gonna just put it on one of those wall mounts. But I'm like, you should probably plug this in and actually play around with it before you commit to putting this thing mounted on your wall. And the image quality is bunk. It's just bad. I opened up I tinkered around with it for a long time today. Not a long time, but long enough. And all the resolutions that I can access through software are 4:3. And the only way I can get 30 frames per second is 1024 by 768. That's the resolution of the video. They're all 4:3, so they're square. And the choppiness is really bad. I'm using what you're watching me on right now is my FaceTime camera built into my MacBook, and the image quality is 10 times better than this camera. I was expecting it to be the opposite. And when I pulled this camera out of the box, I'm like, man, this thing's solid. It looks really nice. It's going to be great. I plug it in, and I'm like, man, this kind of sucks. The nice thing about it is that you can set the lens to the focal length that you want. You can set the focus and lock it by turning a screw. You can manually lock the focus where you want it to be. And you can set the aperture, which is the brightness. And you can do that all manually, and that way it's not going to change on you. But I'm not really digging this camera. And so I reached out to the manufacturer because on their Amazon, the Amazon ad says that it's 100 frames per second, 8 megapixel still camera, 4K video, high resolution, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. Because if it was, one of the video apps that I opened up this camera with would have been able to. It's not defective. It's just Chinesium. It's straight up. It's just Chinese. The Chinese just lied about how it's not a high resolution camera. It's just not. And it's not even that good. I mean, it's not like I'm keeping it because, once you get something from this Amazon Vine, you can't send it back. So I got it. I'll use it for something. I just don't know what. It would be a great camera for surveillance, for like my home surveillance or whatever, but it's a USB camera, so I'd have to plug it into something. So I'd have to have it plugged into an old laptop or some sort of phone. I don't even know. I would have to have it plugged. It's not a camera on its own. It doesn't store on an SD card. It's just got a USB cable coming out the back of it. So that was fun, I guess. I reached out to the manufacturer just to see like if I'm missing something or whatnot, but there were some other reviews of this thing that people had said. I don't think the people who left the reviews are technical enough to actually get a list of what the resolutions this camera is capable of, but I pulled them right up from software. I'm using OBS, which allows you to, when you connect a camera to this OBS is basically a live streaming app. It's kind of like StreamYard, but it's open source. It's crap. I was going to use it today. I was going to use it so that I could switch between the two cameras and sharing my screen at the push of a button, and it would have been really easy. But I ran into some bugs with not just the camera, but the software itself. And when I look at the resolutions this camera offers because there's a whole list in front of me, none of them are HD. So whatever. I'm not upset about it. I'm not bitter about it. It just, they're going to get a bad review. The Chinese are false advertising this camera, and I'll call them out on it. Give them a 1-star review. Give them 1 star. Say the camera was great when I took it out of the box. Wasn't so good when I plugged it in. It's usable. It's not like it doesn't work. It just is. It's the video quality sucks. The video quality of the camera I'm talking to you on right now is better. And I was hoping it would be the opposite, that I could turn off the FaceTime camera and have a nicer looking video for y'all. But whatever. Let's see. Number 2 on the list, I did get my check in the mail. Woo! So I can go car shopping pretty soon, but you know how these banks are. I rode my bicycle on Tuesday over to the bank to drop this check off and make a deposit, and the bank's putting a hold on the funds. So now I have to wait until next Thursday to have access. I have access to some of the funds. I paid a couple of bills with it, but I don't have access to all of it until next Thursday. And this bank that I have here in Houston, they suck. The first time when I opened an account at this bank, I should have went to another bank because I deposited 3 checks. And because I was a new customer and you get through that probationary period or whatever, they put a 21-day hold on the first 3 checks I deposited in that account. And I thought, now when I was in Jamestown, I opened up a bank account and I put a check in as a deposit. And they said within the first, as your first 30 days of a customer, they'll put a 10-day hold on any checks that you deposit. I deposited a check. 3 days later, they gave me the funds. They didn't even follow their own policy that they told me. They gave me the funds 3 days later. This other check, or this other bank, I deposited 3 checks. They made me wait 21 freaking days to get my money. And I didn't really care because at the time I didn't need the money. I just needed to put it in a bank. And I needed to have a bank account here in Houston, but I'm looking for another bank. As soon as I get through this situation with the car, whatever. But ironically, I talk about synchronicity all the time. And we're going to talk about September 11th for a minute because it's coming up. We all got bad memories about September 11th. But for me, we have September 11th, the one that we all know. A few years later, my son was born. My son was born on 9/9/9, September 9th, 2009. I went to the hospital on that day to go watch my son be born. That was the first time I held him in my arms and all that. And I don't know if you can hear that. There must be fire trucks go by every now and then. People are always burning their homes down here, I guess. But at least it's not cop sirens all day long. But the second September 11th that I have that means something to me was 2 days after my son was born. I was told, meet my boss at the coffee shop on your way into work this morning. And I knew what that meant. And I got fired. I got fired on September 11th for going to the hospital for the birth of my son. There's another September 11th that I can't remember, that I had 5. I can't remember this one. There's another September 11th that's significant for some reason, in a bad way. But anyway, there's another September 11th that sucked. And then, so anyway, last year in 2024 on September 11th, that was the day I moved to Houston. That was the day I got here. And so probation was holding me up, forcing me to be homeless, even though I had a place to go, et cetera, et cetera. It all got approved. I got a rental vehicle. The guy who was giving me a ride to pick up the rental van, we all had to kind of, we worked it all out, and it wasn't my doing, but it ended up being on my son's birthday. I got to drive this minivan down to my son's house and spend his birthday with him last year. And then 2 days later, on September 11th, I'm in Houston. I live in Houston now. And so now it's a year later. On September 11th, I'm supposed to go get this money that I deposited in the bank, or rather, I have full access to the funds that I deposited this week, and I can go look for a car. And so maybe if I'm kind of looking at it like, maybe the good Lord has something in mind, because I have looked at a few vehicles, window shopping on Auto Trader. Facebook Marketplace sucks. There's too much crap to weed through to try and find anything good. If I was looking for a dirt cheap car, that might be a good way to go. And Craigslist sucks because it's full of spam. Auto Trader has been the best place for me to look right now, and I have a bunch bookmarked. There was a Toyota RAV4, and that got sold because that's not showing up anymore. But I'm going to pull up a few of the vehicles that I'm still seeing. Oh, and there was yesterday afternoon, there was a 2003 Mini Cooper S, same vehicle I used to own, but it had 50,000 miles on it, and it was $4,000. And I'm like, hey, maybe that would be all right. I mean, it is a good price for that car. Those are really fun cars. But having owned one for 6 years, the same model year, the same model, I'm like, I really wouldn't trust that car to go to Pittsburgh and back. I just wouldn't. I never had any serious problems with that car, but it was always the Mini Cooper, especially the 2003. You'll be driving along, all of a sudden, bing, a light goes on. The doors don't work all of a sudden. Like the handle to open up the door sometimes won't work. You'd have to, like, the way to fix it was like the Fonz in the jukebox, Arthur Fonzarelli, to get the door to unlock. If it doesn't unlock, you bang on it with your fist at a certain spot. And this is on like YouTube and stuff. And sure enough, all of a sudden your door works again. Just weird stuff like that would happen with this car. And there was always some glitchy, goofy thing going on with this car, and you'd fix one thing and another thing would break, and it wouldn't be like I never needed to get it towed or had any like dirt, but I wouldn't trust that car to go on a long distance ride. So, but the funny thing is, today I looked again because I bookmarked it just for fun. It was already sold. It showed up yesterday and it was gone yesterday. Someone saw that and jumped on it. And, if it was just a get around town car and you already have another vehicle and you want to have a Mini Cooper S, that's a fun car to own. And it's not, if you take care of it, it'll probably last. I mean, mine was almost 20 years old. And so So anyway, what we got? Mitsubishi Subaru. There was one more. I'm just going to pull it up. Yeah, this one. So I'm going to share my screen with what I've seen. And these are all cars that are within a pretty close distance of me. And I've got one in mind that I'm thinking of. But anyway, I'm going to let me hit this because it's fun to share my screen. And then I got one more cool thing to talk about here in a minute. All right, so there's a 2019 Mitsubishi Mirage here, 59,000 miles for $5,500. And I drove one of these here. I rented one day and I drove it like 200 miles. I drove this thing like 200 miles one day. And when I went to put gas in the tank to take it back to the rental place, the gas nozzle goes clunk, and I'm like, and then I squeeze it again, clunk, clunk. And I thought I was at some ghetto ass gas station where the gas pump wasn't working. And I look and I'm like, I've only put $4 in the gas tank. And so I'm like, wait a minute. I hang up the gas pump and I get in the car and I start up the car. It's got a full tank of gas. So I went like 200 miles on this car and it cost me $4 in gas. And the insurance would be cheap. The only thing that really kind of bothers me is you'll see right here, it's got a CVT transmission. And so I'm like, I don't trust those. I don't trust driving my car with a rubber band as a transmission. But I did some homework on this one. Supposedly they say that this CVT is actually good for this car because it's designed to power a car that weighs twice as much as this car. And so this car being so light doesn't put a lot of strain on the transmission and they last a long time. And there's very few reports of people having the transmission blow out on these. But even so, I'm like, I don't know. It's got low mileage. It's a good price. I know from experience that it gets good gas mileage and it would be cheap on insurance. So, yeah, I just recorded a video today about JS says it's so bad. Well, let me back up a minute. People are buying used cars and avoiding new cars because of build quality. And then JS says, it's so bad, it seems like that's the story for other things like appliances. They don't make them like they used to, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not just the planned obsolescence and the bad build quality, but you have to rent the things that you buy now. We were talking about the BMWs with the heated seats, and you have to pay for a subscription to use the heated seats. And I saw that there was road racing bicycles out now, $5,000 to $10,000 bicycle. It has a power meter built into the crankset, and you can't use it until you pay for a subscription to unlock the power meter on your crankset. Otherwise, it won't work. So you have to pay for a subscription. And I'm like, all these road bikes, all these racing bikes are coming with electronic shifting now. So your rear derailleur, your front derailleur, they're not even wired anymore. It's all wireless. So you've got buttons on your handlebars to shift, and you've got a wireless derailleur system. How long is it going to be before you have to pay for a shifter subscription? You buy this $10,000 racing bike, and then you got to pay them $50 a month to shift your gears because because they can do that. Well, I saw a video today about a refrigerator where the water filter, the filtered water that comes, the water dispenser will stop working when the filter inside the fridge reaches a certain age, whether it's bad or good. And if you try to replace the filter with another brand, like an aftermarket brand, it won't work because they have RFID tags in them, and you have to buy the filter for that fridge. And if VW has a horsepower subscription, you pay them a fee to get extra power out of your engine. Like, what in the hell is that? You're going to have, that's the first step. You're going to have to pay for a gas pedal subscription at some point. You're going to have to pay for a brake pedal subscription. And if you don't make your payment, The car you'll be somewhere, you miss your gas pedal subscription. The car will only go 20 miles an hour with the flashers on until you get home. And then when the GPS detects that you're home, it shuts off your car until you pay your subscription. I mean, that's where we're going. And we can talk about this all day. So yeah, of course, I don't want a new car. I'm going to get jacked by the insurance companies because I haven't had insurance for a while. And they're all going to dangle that tracking chip in front of me. And I'm going to be like, the fuck you are going to track me. I'm not putting no GPS tracker in my car so you can watch everywhere I go. Get the hell out of here. So I'll pay more for car insurance, but I'm not getting a tracker put in my car. Let's see. But eventually, if enough dumb people go along with this tracker discount bullshit, it won't take long before you can't get car insurance without a tracking device in your car. Some high-end cars, they won't insure you if you don't put them in. So anyway, there's that. The Mitsubishi. There's Kia Forte 2015. It's a private seller, and it looks like it's in okay shape. I don't know how reliable those are. I haven't done my homework on that. 135,000 miles. I don't really know. I am not sure I want to go with a private seller. Yeah, the engine will be shit, Jared says. I've got a lot of bookmarks. These things here that you see that I'm hovering my mouse over are all the bookmarked cars that I'm looking at. So I'm just pulling up a few. This one's one that's got my eye the most right now. It's a 2006 Subaru Forester, and it's at a dealership, and it's $5,000, 168,000 miles though, which I don't know if that's good or bad, but it seems like it's in good shape in terms of the photographs. It's clean. It doesn't have dents and scratches and all that stuff. And for the kind of vehicle that I would like to have, it has enough room in it for things that I might want to do, camping trips, things like that. It's got all-wheel drive. If it wasn't for that RAV4 being bought, but I don't see any rips or stains on the seats. I look for that. I look for like what vehicle is going to be reliable, and then I look at the vehicle and see, did the previous owner trash this thing? Is it all beat up? Is it covered in dents? Is it stained up and stains all over the place? I know they can detail a car and do miracles to get a car looking new again, but at the end of the day, I'm like, if somebody didn't take care of their car on the outside, then it's probably not going to have been taken care of on the inside, like oil changes at the right intervals and all that kind of stuff. And so I try to stay away from any car that looks like someone beat on it or neglected it, more importantly. So for the price, it's in my price range. The RAV4 that I was looking at had 140,000 miles on it. So that's a price. I mean, this is kind of like this is the kind of stuff that I'm probably going to be able to grab. I think I'd rather have a Forester than this Mirage. But I mean, I can't get past the fact that this Mirage is like, 60,000 miles is nothing on a modern car. So I don't know. This one's 20 miles away. This Subaru it's actually 4 miles away from my house. So this might be one that I go look at when I get paid. I feel like I want to go to a dealer. Yeah, I mean, I'll look at the Carfax. Blue Sky says, look for previous flood damage. Sure. There's when you buy it on Auto Trader, there's access to the Carfax here somewhere. No accidents or damage reported to Carfax right here. Now, whether it was reported or not, but that's because, I mean, you can trash a car, have it fixed, and not have it show up on Carfax. So there really is no, I mean, you're never going to get 100% honest answer, but there's things to look for. I mean, I know I would be happier looking at a car that hasn't been detailed, especially under the hood. because if it's been detailed and cleaned, then that's not going to tell you where things are leaking and stuff like that. But this one looks like it might have been detailed under the hood. I don't even see any. I don't see any under the hood shots, but it looks like this car has been detailed just from all the photos of it, and it's at a dealership. But the reason why I'm thinking I want to go to a dealership over a private seller is because this DMV here in Texas sucks. I mean, it took me 3 months to get my driver's license switched from New York to Texas. And so if I go and buy a vehicle from a private seller, then what? I bought a vehicle, paid for it, and now what? Do I got to go 2 months without being able to drive it because I got to go ride my bike to the DMV, and then I got to ride my bike to this place, and then I got to do this, fill out this paperwork, wait for some crap to come in the mail, whatever. You go to a dealership, you give them the money, you fill out some paperwork, they put the license plates on, give you the keys, and you're good. You got to show them that you have insurance. And with Auto Trader, the VIN number's right there. So I can get a quote. And then if I go buy it, call up the insurance company, say, yeah, I'll do it. Let's do it right now. Have them fax the insurance card to the dealer, and boom, I drive home. So that's kind of, but I'm open-minded. If God wants me to wait until September 11th to get the money, then maybe there's a unicorn that's going to pop up out of the forest, and it's going to be way better than anything I've looked at. But I haven't gone to look at anything. I'm just window shopping on the internet. So that's the car situation. That's where I'm at. I'm taking some time to, educate myself and see what's out there. The Forester is the one that's got my eye the most right now. And I feel like it's a good balance. It's the right price. I can probably haggle a little bit. I think if I go to this dealer with the intent of haggling, I'm going to have a number in my head before I even leave the house. And I'm going to say, okay, we got to make it so that the purchase price, the sales tax, the BS, the dealership fee, and all the other stuff adds up to this much and not a penny more. And we're going to and I'll sign, and we'll get it done. That's how I would haggle on something like that. I'll have a number in mind that, like, after sales tax, after the dealership fees and all the extra crap they try and pile on, this is what I want to pay, period. Are we going to do it, or am I going to walk away? Because I'm only 4 miles away. I can get on my bicycle and pedal off into the sunset and go look for another car. So, that would be cool to, if I can come up with a number that I got to do a little more homework. If I'm going to go actually physically look at a car, I'm going to dig deeper and do a little bit more homework and have like a plan in my head. And if I have to walk away and come home and then see if they call me the next morning and say, hey, we changed our mind, we'll do it. Because if that's been sitting on the lot for a minute, they might just want to get rid of the thing and make their money and move on. So you just got to play the game. But I'm not going to go in there expecting to pay the sticker price. But I know that dealerships these days don't like to haggle much at all, but they will. I've done it. There is going to be, but a private seller, you can haggle the crap out of them, especially if they've had a car sitting in their driveway for 2 months that they want to get rid of. All of a sudden, they're going to be like, yeah, I'll do it. Fine. Let's get it done. Get it out of my driveway. Get the money in my hand. But the advantage of going to a dealership and doing it there is I can drive it home with the paperwork all done and the license plates on the car, and I don't have to go to the DMV and figure out, because I'm new here. I don't even know how it works in Texas. And frankly, I don't want to know. Not right now, because it was hard. It was 3 months of nonsense just to get my driver's license from New York to Texas. 3 months I had to deal with the dumbass DMV down here. And so, yeah, everybody's broke. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with a Subaru. The only Subaru that I would have a hard time buying right now, even though I would like one, is a WRX. Either an older WRX STI Impreza, or now they just call it the WRX, especially if it's got the turbocharge and it's the premium package, or it's been heavily modified, which people modify the crap out of these things. You might be buying a car that the engine blew up on twice, because people race these things, people abuse them. And so I would love to own a Subaru Impreza, but I would have to buy a new one. So I'm the one beating it up. I don't want to buy a souped up Impreza or a WRX that someone, did all this aftermarket stuff and made it really, really fast, and they're selling it to me, one red line before the engine explodes. So, and I don't know. Those ones good, fun cars. Really fun car to drive. They're fast, but I just need a car that's like practical right now. So between that, the two cars that I'm really probably would want to go look at is that Subaru Forester and the Mitsubishi Mirage. And the Mirage is only because it has so few miles on it. It just seems like those are the two that I'm thinking about, and I'll probably go look at the Subaru first because it's 4 miles from my house. And I'm of the mindset that if I've done enough homework before I go look at a car in person, I've bought lots of vehicles where I never went and looked at vehicles in person until I found the one, and then I just went and bought it. I had to verify. You have to take it on a test drive, look it over, and make sure it's good to go. But, the way the internet is now, it saves a lot of hassle when it comes to car shopping. You can really narrow down what you're looking for and just kind of try and find the best deal, the best price for the best vehicle for your needs before you ever leave your house, and get a good idea that, be ready to buy when you go on this trip. So, Angels in Our Midst says, I'd rather clean every cat box in a 10-mile radius than get a new cell phone or buy a car. And I've had to do both. I just bought a new cell phone and it's miserable. I like my new phone now that I'm using it regularly. It definitely is an upgrade from the old phone, but boy, I hate this process of transfer, and I'm changing my phone number too. So it's even double the pleasure. The nice thing about the new phone is I have not received a single phone call on the new phone, not spam, nobody. The phone doesn't ring unless it's for me. The old phone that I had that I'm getting rid of, the first day I had that phone, I was getting like 10 to 15 spam phone calls a day from whoever used to have that phone number. And so I never had the break-in period on that phone number. And so I'm fine with getting rid of it. But there's a whole bunch of crap I've got to do so that I can keep in touch with everybody that I need to. And I've been a little bit burned out this week, and I'm flaking out on a lot of fronts. I'm just the exhaustion and the fatigue that I'm talking about lately has set in to a level I haven't felt since the day I came home from prison. So it's bad. It's really bad this week. Last week was really bad. This week was really bad. But I'm not feeling upset about it. I'm just worn out. And I think it's just, I went through all this trauma. And the trauma goes back to 2019, the day I broke my arm on a freak bike crash. And everything snowballed from there. I had broke my arm. I wasn't even done with physical therapy. The 2020 COVID scam started. And then we went downhill from there. I got fired from my job for not taking the shot 2 weeks before Christmas. And then, then I got arrested, spent 2 years in prison, came home to be homeless, moved to Houston, started a life over at 49 years old, et cetera, lived in a tool shed with a slumlord that wouldn't even fix the hot water, and just all that stuff. And it was like, I keep explaining it like a spring that you just keep winding and winding and winding, and the tension builds and the tension builds, and there's all that stored energy. and I'm like fight or flight mode for 6 straight years. 6 straight years of never being able to like unclench my fists, ready to fight, ready to flight. 6 straight years of nonstop stress. And I moved into this place where I live right now. And after I was here about a month and a half, 2 months, when that 2-month mark hit and I felt comfortable here, it's quiet. The landlord's a good guy. Everybody, there's no nosy neighbors. I can walk around with the windows wide open and no curtains, and I don't feel like my privacy is at stake. I mean, that's how comfortable this place is. I didn't even want to move here when I looked at this place. But every time I went and looked at a different place, it kept coming back to this one. And now that I moved in, I'm like, I'm glad I live here. I'm fine. It's not where I want to live for more than a year. But even when the year's up, I'm on a month-to-month basis from there. So I only have to give the landlord a 30-day notice. So I can take my time and find the place I really want to live. And maybe things will work out so I can move back to Pittsburgh and be near my kids. By the time this lease is up, I'm on month number 4 of a 12-month lease. I mean, it's going by fast. I've got, after this, 8 more months on a lease, and I can do something else. So, and I'll have a car by then. So, it's all good. But I'm tired. Like, once I got comfortable here and I was able to rest and relax, it's like that spring, 6 years of winding a spring. Finally, it just went boom. And I'm just like this. I'm so tired I can barely move. Yesterday, I could barely get up off the chair and go walk to the fridge and back. It was so bad. Jared's saying, did you get a bed? Not yet. So that's part of it. But my camp cot is way more comfortable than it sounds. I've got this memory foam thing that's like that thick, and it's a cot. Those aren't that uncomfortable. My back is fine. It doesn't. If I was sleeping on like a couch, or if I was sleeping on the wrong thing, my back would tell me. But my back doesn't hurt sleeping on this. So, but I want a bed. I mean, I'm trying to get a car first. I want to get a car so I know how much money I have left over, and then I'm going to go buy a bed, and then I'm going to get some curtains, and then I'm going to do whatever happens from there. But those are the 3 priorities right now. Get the car. So I'm trying not to spend any money except for bills. Get the car, get a bed, get the curtains, and finish off that room. I don't even want to buy the curtains right now. I could do it today. But I'm like, I don't want to be $50 short when it comes to going to the car dealer. I don't think that'll happen. I think I could get the curtains first. I don't think that would kill me. Maybe I will. I don't know. But I'm really like focused on just save your money. I got a couple more checks coming in the mail and through direct deposit. So I'll have a little bit more in the bank by the time that check gets released and the funds are available. And then I should be able to, go do this. So that's that. Now that we got some people in the house, the third thing I want to talk about is the channel memberships. I was talking about how YouTube, I'm going to pull up something on my screen here. I don't have a second YouTube account to look at like what you guys would see, but I can open up my memberships tab, and if I think, hold on, add, I don't know how to bring up the membership list. Levels, edit. Oh, here we go. All right, so I can share that screen. There's nothing private there. All right, so I set this up, I told you guys, because Google said they would give me $600 for turning it on. And then $6 as a bonus in the first 30 days for every new person that signs up. and nobody knows about this. I haven't announced it. There's no videos up there where I announce this. But if you go to my channel right now, next to where the subscribe button would be, there should be a plus button or something like that that allows you to join. And so they made me come up with 2 tiers. They wouldn't let me put just one. I just wanted it to be $1.99, and here's what you get. They made me put 2 tiers in. They would not let me do one. So I'm like, all right, fine. So what we've got here is the awesome channel member, $1.99 a month. You get the loyalty badges. Supposedly I can design my own. So I can make some really cool badges that are, I don't know anything about it until I try to do it. Emojis, and I can design my own, is from what they say. I will do members only live chats, like once a week, just like we're doing now. Now, if there's only 2 members, fine. I'll do a members only live chat for an hour, and we'll just talk. I'll talk about some stuff. If nobody shows up, there will still be a replay that you can go watch later. But for those chats, I'm going to make them members only. So whatever you say in the members, whatever happens in the members only live chat stays in the members only live chat forever. I'm not going to unlock them. So if you want to watch the replays, you got to be a member. As long as I can do all of this. If for some reason I find out YouTube doesn't let me do something the way I want to do it, then fine. I'll say that. Early access to new videos. So this is actually going to be this is going to take a few, this is going to take a minute to talk about this. Because what I'm thinking of doing, and this is going to give me like 5 minutes to walk through this one. So early access to new videos. If I'm going to do the videos the way I'm doing them right now, where I record on a Tuesday and then you see it next week, that's kind of weak. And I don't like it. I'm doing it for the reasons I've been doing it, as out of convenience, and the algorithm likes it when I put up a new video every day, and it's been working out for me so far, but I don't want to keep doing that. So instead of doing that, I'm going to do more live streams like this, like I'm doing right now. And they may just be random. I may just pop up and do a live stream out of nowhere in the middle of the week with a specific topic in mind and just start talking about it. And with YouTube, even with YouTube Studio in the web browser, it's easy for me to share my screen. And so I can make it more interesting because I can talk about stuff and I can share my screen like I'm doing right now. And it's easy. If I'm using my cell phone to shoot a video, I can't do that. And then if I want to share my screen, I've got to go and edit in Adobe Premiere, and I've got to do all this stuff, and it takes a long time, and it's not working. So if I just want to do like the daily update video and just talk for a bit, I think I'm just going to do that as a live stream. Even if nobody shows up, I'll make it the same as I do now. The live stream, if you show up for the live stream, it's free. If you, no ads, I mean, and then after the fact, there will be ads after the replay. The replay will have ads. I'll turn them on after I'm done recording the live stream. Then early access to new videos. This is what I'm planning on doing, and I'm stocking. So this Amazon Vine program, one of the things that they keep sending me, or that I keep being able to order, are all kinds of accessories and camera mounts for all of my cameras, my action cameras, my GoPro cameras, all that stuff. I've got 2 chest mounts coming. I've got helmet mounts. I've got a mount to put an action cam on the headset of my bicycle and have it stick up. I got mounts that I can mount rear-facing cameras. I've got mounts that I can have. I could have like 3 cameras going at the same time now. One on my chest, one on my helmet, one on the back of the bicycle facing backwards, etc. So what I'm going to do to start out this idea of mine is I've been talking about just doing more videos that are specific subjects and not just 2 hours of rambling. And so what I'm going to do is for a couple of weeks, I'm going to shoot a whole bunch of videos of me cycling and commuting, working on my bikes, fixing bikes, whatever. I'm going to do another video where I go through my backpack that I go commuting with. And I'm going to break these up into small videos, so maybe anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour long, depending on whatever it is I'm talking about. So if it's a bike repair video, it might just be a bike repair video about how to adjust your derailleurs. But I'm going to do a video that as I'm going to pack my bag this week for my next bicycle commute, I'm going to go through my backpack again and do a more edited video that's nice, just talking about this is the backpack that I use and here's everything in it and why. And then I'm going to film the different routes that I go to and from work. Strava has a bunch of tools that I can do like a Google Maps flyover video showing you the route and how I ride and get there. And I can take what I'm going to do is shoot video over like 2 weeks talking about my bicycle commutes and then just pick and choose the footage from that and do like a voiceover narration on top of it and just talk about everything about bicycle commuting that I can share with people and teach people, from what to pack, how to carry it all. I've got Amazon Vine sending me a bunch of different bicycling bags, everything from a folding milk crate that goes on the back of my thing for grocery shopping, to a trunk bag, to panniers, to a little tiny saddle bag that's like a flat tire kit if you don't want to carry a backpack full of stuff, but you still might need to fix a flat tire. And I can just do videos about all this stuff. And I don't have to do it all in one giant, perfectly made video. But what I'm going to do is just have like a bike commuting playlist. And it'll just have edited videos. So they're going to take me longer to put together because I'm going to have to film a bunch of footage, come up with like a narrative script that I'm going to have to read, and edit the video, kind of like a mix in between, and just talk about here's what's going on. Show you the difference between taking the bike trail and taking the roads that I take. There's an 18-mile route to the bakery, and it's fast, and the roads are fast, and I get my average speed up to about 15, 20 miles an hour, and I can do it in an hour and 10 minutes to go to the bakery or back now. I've got it dialed in, but the roads are, I wouldn't call them, some of them are dangerous, and they're all loud, and they're all full of traffic and full of cars. Some of them have wide shoulders, some of them have no shoulders, but it's the fastest way for me to get home, but it's stress. And then contrast it with, here's a way that I can go home that's 25 miles long, but 75% of this bike ride is in the woods on paved bike trails with no cars, no traffic. You got some joggers, you got some people hiking and biking and dog walkers and all that kind of stuff, but there's no cars. It's quiet. And just kind of show you what I'm doing. I've got the gear to do it. I might pick up one camera on Amazon that I've got my eye on because it's cheap, an action camera. It's not a 360 cam because those things are like $500 and I'm not spending that. And those action cameras, the Live 360 or whatever company that is, and the DJI cameras have subscription crap built into the camera where the DJI camera, you can use it 5 times and then you have to open up an app and register the camera with them and give them all your personal information and activate your camera with their software. And then they're going to try and push a subscription on you to use your camera. Like, what the F, you know? And same thing with the 360, I forget what the name of the brand is, but they put ads on the camera screen. They put like these pop-up ads on your camera screen while you're trying to use your camera. And the only way to make them go away is to pay them for a subscription. And that's on the camera that you bought. So now you have to rent the camera that you buy, just like you have to rent the car that you buy to use the heated seats or to get the VW horsepower boost or whatever. It's all bullshit. So this other camera I found on Amazon's got good reviews. It's like $130 and it's got 7 hours of recording time and it's super compact. And so I'm like, and it's got a fisheye lens with image stabilization. It shoots 4K. And I'm like, that along with my GoPro cameras and my cell phones, I've got old cell phones that I can use as cameras. I've got all kinds of gear that I can film this stuff with. And so I'm going to start by doing some of the bike rides and some bicycling videos that are edited and not just me sitting in front of a camera. And the new car, I'm already getting a mount that I could stick on the dashboard of a car and have my cell phone face, and I could do car talk while I drive around and talk to y'all. I could do stuff like that. But so what I'm thinking is early access to new videos. If I'm posting videos every day, I'll make it so that members can watch them without ads for like maybe 3 days or something. And then after the third day, I manually have to go in and set the video to be live to everybody and then turn on the advertisements. The way YouTube works, they really want you to watch those ads, and I don't want the members to watch ads. So YouTube allows me to put up a video and make it members only, and then they allow me to set a date and time that it goes live for everybody else. But they don't allow me to turn on the ads automatically when that happens, because they want you to turn on the ads for everybody. They want the members, the YouTube wants you to watch the ads. So they make it hard for me. So if I do early access to videos, the members will get it for a few days, maybe a couple more days, because I manually would have to go into YouTube Studio and change the visibility to public and set the monetization to turn it on at the same time I do that, because there's no way to do that automatically. But I'll do that. I don't care. If I'm doing something like doing edited videos and higher quality videos, then I'll turn on the members only with no ads for like a week or two, or until I do the next video. Like every time I put up a new video, I'll make the old one public, and then I'll let the members watch the new one for however long it takes me to get the next one going or whatever. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about, because I want to do better videos, and I'm a good video editor. I have the chops. I know how to do motion graphics. I know how to make it professional stuff. I have good enough cameras to do stuff like this. I don't have top of the line stuff, especially for video, but I have the software. I know how to use it. I know how to do all this stuff. It just takes time. But if I can get into a rhythm, I can probably work it into my schedule. But I might not. But I might have to put up 1 video, 2 videos a week, instead of doing like sit in front of the camera and talk for an hour. And so to make up for that, anytime I'm going to sit in front of the camera and just talk, I'll make it a live stream, because why not? I don't edit these anyway. If I'm sitting there on a Tuesday morning doing a video update for everybody, the main reason why I schedule it a week later is because when I add all the metadata, the thumbnail image, and all the different stuff, it helps with all that stuff I'm doing is for the YouTube algorithm to help keep my channel alive. And it just worked for me, but I didn't want to keep doing that forever. And I keep saying that. So another thing, that's the early access to new videos. Also with the awesome channel member, I'm going to set up a Discord server or a Discord chat room or whatever. Discord and YouTube talk to each other. So, and I don't know how to do it. I was going to do it this week, but I'm too tired and I don't have any members. So why bother? But I will set this up so that there's a message board chat room on Discord where all of you members can go and chat with each other anytime you want, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And Discord has the tie-in to YouTube to check to see if you're a member of that channel. So once again, what happens in the Discord chat room for members only stays in the Discord chat room for members only, and you can all just get to know each other, talk, and have a good time. And it's private. It's for the club. So, and then I talked about members only live streams. So what's the difference between a live chat and a live stream here? I don't even know. I thought that's what that meant right there. Members only live streams, live chats, whatever. And then I can put discount codes for my store. So like I've got an Etsy store, and then there's another store called Fourth Wall, and that's the one that links to YouTube. If I could directly link a YouTube channel with the Etsy store and have all the merchandise show up on my page, I would do it with Etsy, but they don't support it. So there's another shop app called Fourth Wall, and I have all the same stuff on Fourth Wall as Etsy. So anytime I put something on Etsy, I put it on the other one. Same price, same shipping, everything's the same. So I can give discount codes that you could use either on Etsy or Fourth Wall. And I do have a plan to, I'm busy, but I do want to get back into my photography and have a library of 1,000 images to pick from instead of 20. At some point, I'll get there. I don't know when. And so that counts all the perks of being an awesome channel member for $1.99 a month. I think being able to watch the videos without the ads is the biggest perk right off the bat. And I'll make it worthwhile. Like I'll make sure that I keep those videos ad free for enough time for my people to come watch them. And then, whatever frequency I'm posting videos, I'll make sure that there's enough time to get your ad-free viewing experience, because for me, it really doesn't matter when it goes live to the public, especially if they're not timely topics. And then the live feeds, even if I do like a live stream, I don't know. There's lots of different things I can do. And I think it's going to evolve and change. And I don't want to just say this is how it's going to be forever. I would like to be able to add more stuff and do more stuff. But anyway, I had to come up with 2 tiers. So I came up with the High Rollers Club. So if you're a high roller and you want to throw in, $5.99 a month, you'll get all the stuff that the awesome channel member gets, but you'll also get specific shout outs in the videos. You'll get credits. Like at the beginning of the video, I'll put up a screen or something, here are the high rollers. Here's this month. Here's the High Rollers Club with all your screen names and, what your avatars or whatever you want to show. And I don't know how it'll work exactly, but call out the high rollers, give them credit for who they are. And so that's I don't even care if anybody signs up, to be honest. I mean, I'm not begging for people to come sign up to be a channel member. I told you I did it because YouTube said they give me $600. And I'm like, who's going to leave $600 sitting on the table? But if people do join either the Awesome Channel Member Club or the High Rollers Club, then cool. I mean, it gives me incentive to keep moving things along in the right direction. But if I had more ambition and time and I wasn't so drained and whatnot, the new car would be a good first topic. Searching for a new car and documenting it and all that would be cool. But I don't want to be a guy who basically lives his life walking around with a selfie stick everywhere I go, talking on a video camera, everything I do and everywhere I go. I don't want to be one of those influencers that don't even live in the real world and they're always just looking for views online and stuff. But I do want to do some cool videos. I want to do some stuff that's above and beyond sitting in front of a camera and talking about stuff. And I've been doing that for a year and some change. So, and I've got the ability, the equipment, and the software and everything I need to do what I want to do. I just got to figure out how to start doing it. And if you remember, if you're one of the people who've been following this channel for a long time, there have been times where I did put in some time to edit some videos. When I first moved to Houston, I was, playing around with a GoPro camera and doing a little bit of edited stuff. And I was putting too much time into it, and I wasn't getting any views, and it wasn't really like, it didn't feel like it was worth my time at the time, but it did kind of get me into a rhythm with it. So that's what I'm planning on doing. Hopefully the stream is still going. I haven't had anybody tell me that there's no that the stream's busted or anything, but the chat slowed down a little bit, and the participants only shows one me. So hopefully the video stream, according to my screen, it says everything's going fine. So hopefully the stream didn't freeze or anything like that. That's cool. Thanks, Jared. Just want to make sure. Sometimes I just wonder. The feedback that you get when you're on this side of the camera doesn't always tell you what's going on. But I was going to use a different tool called OBS to stream. But the software was buggy. In fact, I started a stream. I created the stream. I forgot to do this last week because I'm so tired. I forgot to put up the announcement for the live stream with the thumbnail and the description and all that until today. I was like, oh crap, I forgot to do that. But I knew you guys would show up. So I wasn't like, I wasn't that big of a deal. But when I first set up the stream, I set it to use this software to feed the stream. And I was doing a little bit of testing around, and I didn't like how it was working. And I thought it was going to bug out. So I wanted to change it back to webcam, which that's an option in YouTube Studio for your stream. But once you schedule a stream, if you tell it you're using your webcam, it doesn't let you change your mind. It doesn't let you say, I want to stream with streaming software versus a webcam. And so I had to delete the stream announcement after I had set it up and create a new stream announcement, which cancels out the URL. So if you had bookmarked it and then come back to watch it later. So it's kind of nice that I figured out how to do that. And that once you make a decision on which way you're going to go, you can't undo it unless you delete the stream completely and put a new one in place. So I'm just learning things as I go here with YouTube and all this stuff. Jared asks me if I want to do a Bible study. Yeah, I do. And I'm not going to make that members only. I'm not, I'm not Joel Osteen down here in Houston with my mega church, pay to pray. I'm not pulling that game. I'm just, I just got to figure out. The biggest thing for me is on Sundays, I'm wiped out. Saturday, I go to the bakery. Sunday, I'm done. Monday, I go to the bakery again, and I'm even more worn out. And Tuesday, I'm like dead to the world. The only thing I could do on Tuesday was take my check to the bank. And I didn't want to and the only reason I did was because I had 3 bills that I had to pay, and I needed that money to be in the bank or I couldn't pay my bills. And so I was like, got to get on your bike and go. But I was like, I was hurting. 16 miles. It's 8 miles to the bank, 8 miles back. I got to stop and get my snobby milk in the glass bottles because the grocery store that sells it is right there. So I'm carrying a quart of half and half and a half gallon of milk in glass bottles in my backpack with a little bit of padding in between so they don't break. But now I'm on a timer. I've got to get back before, milk. And it was still cold when I get home. It's only 20 minutes to get from there to here. But definitely the milk made the bike ride worthwhile. More than putting the check in the bank. But I'm glad I did go to the bank because every day that I would have waited would be another day I'd have to wait to go car shopping. So I'm glad I got it all done. And I have a feeling that the synchronicity of my funds being available on September 11th, exactly 1 year to the day after I moved to Houston, just kind of makes me wonder what's, is there a synchronicity thing going on there that I can talk about after the fact? And so next Thursday, maybe I can do a live stream from the new car. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to find one that day, but I am the kind of guy who will go to the dealership and just boom, buy the car. But I've done my homework before I leave the house. I wasn't carrying cash. JS has said I would be worried carrying $8,000 in my pocket while riding to the bank. It was a check. It wasn't cash. If it was cash, I don't even know if I'd put it in the bank. I'd just go to the dealership and open up a briefcase and be like, here you go. A little briefcase, but I could find a little satchel to put some cash in and just go pay cash for a car. I just got to wait for the bank to let go of the funds. And the only reason there's a lot of fraud out there. I get it. But when you open up a new bank account and you deposit, and these were cashier's checks that I was depositing. When you deposit a cashier's check from another bank into your bank gets that money the next day. Like that's 24 hours or less. It's all electronic. That bank that's paying that check, that bank is in that bank that you're depositing the check into the next day. So they're holding on to your check for 21 days, not letting you have your money, but they got their money less than 24 hours after you put the check in your account. But so why are they doing that? Well, if you know how banks make money by lending out money that they don't have. So every time you put $1,000 in a bank account, the bank can lend out 900 of that. And now we can talk about the circular creating money out of thin air concept. But if I were to try and simplify it, you deposit $1,000, fractional lending. You deposit $1,000, the bank lends out 900. That 900 goes into somebody's bank account. It could be at a different bank. Now the bank gets that 900 and they lend out 800 of it. They keep 100, they lend out 800. So somebody else deposits that 800 into another bank account somewhere, and now that bank can lend out $700. It's actually 10%, but I'm just fudging the numbers to make it easier to do the math in your head. But each time the bank lends out 90% of the deposit that you made, then that loan becomes a deposit in another bank. And then that bank lends out 90% of it. And then that loan becomes a deposit in another bank. And then that bank lends out 90% of it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that $1,000 deposit that you made becomes tens of thousands of dollars in loans that the banks lend out, and tens of thousands of dollars in deposits at all these different banks, until it gets to the point where somebody deposited $1 and the bank can lend out 90 cents, but it's 10% each time it goes into another bank. And so like the banks make money out of thin air. They just lend out money that they don't have. The money's not even real. And so the longer that they can hold your money, if they can take 5,000, if you deposit 10 grand in a bank account and they hold it for 21 days before they let you have it, that's 21 days that they have that they can lend out, $9,000 out into the banking system. And that's 21 days that your 10 grand is locked and showing on their books as a deposit. That's why they don't want you to put your money in and then pay your bills and take it right back out and pay other people. And, you put 10 grand in, but you had $9,000 worth of bills. So it all came right back out. They want to hold your money. That's why the banks, I was reading an article today or watching a video It was an article today. Somebody went to the bank, tried to take out $2,000 to buy a used motorcycle, and the bank wouldn't let him have the money. And the guy's like, I've got $11,000 in this bank account. I want $2,000 now. I want my cash. They're like, well, you need to fill out this form and you need to give us a reason why. We're not just going to give you the $2,000. And the guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's my money. Go fuck yourself. That's the reason. And the bank was like, well, you have to. So he was like, all right, I'm buying a used motorcycle. I need to pay cash. And they're like, well, you need proof of the transaction and you have to fill out this form and you have to show us proof of what you're. They're like, but you can still write a check or use your bank card. And he's like, no, I needed cash. So the dude just withdrew he closed out his accounts and went to another bank. And the banks do this shit. You want to take out $10,000 cash from a bank account, they're going to make it very difficult, very difficult. And they're going to try tooth and nail to keep you from taking your own money out of the bank. Like they act like it's their money now. You put it in the bank and now it's the bank's money. It's not your money anymore. You can only have it back if they give you permission to have it back. Fuck that. That's your money. I've never had to deal with anything that crazy. Having a hold put on my check for 7 to 10 days or whatever it's going to be. Okay, I don't even think I would be out looking for a car today, to be honest. I'm too tired. So I'll do a little bit more window shopping, and by the time that check clears and I get another deposit made next week and it's all in there, I'll be good to go. I'll be like, yeah, I'll go check. I'm going to go look for a car now. And I should have enough to pay for the car, the sales tax, and the insurance, and a tank of gas. And if money gets tight after that, oh well. Oh, JS says a few years ago I requested a withdrawal of $3,000. The manager came up and asked what I was going to do with it. I told him it was none of their business. It's not. I hate Bank of America. So do I. I've never had an account there, but I've been with some big banks and they all suck. Now, I do have an account at a big bank that I never had a problem with. But this particular account, I pretty much use online only. I have never been to a branch office for this bank. They have them now. They didn't when I opened the account, but they have branches, and I even ride my bike past one sometimes. So I could go in person and deal with them directly. But I also like having a local bank account where I live. In Pittsburgh, I went to one of the smaller banks. It wasn't the biggest bank. It wasn't the smallest bank. It was like the in-between bank, and they were decent. I never really had a problem with them. If I needed to go take out a few grand because I was buying something big, they would just be like, how do you want that? In hundreds, 50s? Do you need some 20s? No questions asked. They didn't give me any crap. I'd make a big deposit once in a while. Once again, no questions asked. Money's available the next day. They would give you that bank. If I made a deposit the first day, $250 is available. The next morning, the entire check is available. I never had them put an additional hold on a check that I deposited. It did not matter what the amount was. I never had problems with that bank. This bank here in Houston, every time I log into the online banking, anytime I swipe the debit card, anytime I go in to make a deposit, anytime I do anything with this bank, I've got a knot in my stomach because I'm expecting something to go wrong or I'm expecting to get a hassle. So I'm ready to quit this bank. I've never bounced a check. I've never overdrafted. I've never done anything wrong as a customer, but they treat me like I'm a ghetto piece of trash who's a deadbeat who, bounces checks all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I don't need this. I'll go to a different bank. But it's kind of like what, I forget who said it earlier. Was it Angels in Our Midst or somebody else? Oh, Angel said, I'd rather clean a cat box than get a new cell phone or buy a car. Switching banks is another painful thing. because the chance, okay, so I go find a new bank account somewhere here in Houston. I'm going to be that new customer BS. So whatever restrictions they put on a new customer, that's going to be me for 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is. So I'm going to have to keep my existing bank account. I'm going to have to open up a new bank account and just put some money in it. Write a check to myself or whatever. Put some money in a new bank account and just let it sit there until this probation period and all this nonsense is over with. Maybe switch my direct deposit from one bank to the other. And it's going to have to be a slow process. I'm going to have to change my debit card number for all of the monthly subscriptions and my Photoshop payment and all my business software subscriptions that I pay for every month. I'm going to have to remember to go into every single one of those websites and update the card information so that they're taking it out of the new account instead of the old account. And I'll probably keep the old account for a certain amount of time until I'm comfortable with the new bank, and then close the old one, and then just getting the money out of the old one and putting it in the new one's a pain in the ass. I just had to go through that with moving to Houston. I had to take the Jamestown bank account and transfer the funds down to here in Houston, and it was painful. Something went wrong, and I ended up having to make a few phone calls, and it was a mess. It was only a couple $100, but it was a mess, and the transfer didn't go through, and I had to call and I had to complain and argue with them, and then they had to waive a fee that they had charged me that I shouldn't have been charged and all this other stuff. And then I got it done, and then they wouldn't close the old account until I got the money out of the account, but I couldn't get the money out of the account until I cleared up all this stuff with them. And so it ended up being like 2 weeks of hassles. Do you know about, Blue Sky says, do you know much about the virtual cards that protect your bank account information? Yeah. You can get that there's different ways that you can do that. But some banks will offer that. And so the best way to use that, if you can have an unlimited number of those, you could set up one with Amazon, for example, and it's a virtual bank card that you use for Amazon. And that way only Amazon has that. And then the nice thing about it is if you want to cancel a subscription, like you want to go sign up for LA Fitness, you can use a virtual card number. And then when you want to cancel your LA Fitness membership and they make it impossible, you can just cancel the virtual card number. And you don't have to get a new card. But the banks can override all that crap too. There are things where if you have an LA Fitness membership, for example, and you pay with you have a card, a bank card, and you pay for that. And then you want to cancel your membership, and so you cancel your credit card, you report it lost or stolen, and you get a new card number. There are services now that the companies that bill you monthly can automatically bill your new card number without you having to update it. And it's supposed to be convenient for you so that you don't have to go and redo all of your accounts. But so a company can force a transaction through using your new card number, even though all they have is your old card number. And so they can still get the money out of you. So you have to call your bank and you have to specifically block that vendor from being able to take something from you. And at some point, in an extreme case, you may have to cancel the whole account. That's why I wouldn't sign up for anything like a gym membership. The only way I would ever do that is a card that I can close the account completely and not care. So you get like some crappy credit card that you don't like to use for anything, use it for that stuff. That way you're utilizing the credit. But if something goes haywire, you can just close the account, say I'm done. Like not lost or stolen card, close the account. They can't charge you again. But each bank is different, and you can do these things with different banks. The virtual credit card numbers, So you have a PayPal account. If you have, there's another one called Skrill. Skrill sucks. I just had to reopen a PayPal account, even though I didn't want to ever do it again. You can generate Skrill specifically. You can generate Visa card numbers to pull money from your Skrill account and then use that on places like Amazon and stuff like that. But you have to have a certain amount in your Skrill balance to be able to set those up, virtual card numbers. I don't know if PayPal does that, but I think PayPal might have that option too, where you can set up a virtual card number with PayPal, and then that goes into PayPal, but it works like a credit card number online. A lot of banks offer that. I think we're going to get to the point where we run out of credit card numbers. To be honest, how many? I know there's trillions of card number combinations, but with all this virtual crap and just all the different things, they're going to have to recycle card numbers, but they'll have a different expiration date and a different CV code on them, because there's only so many numbers in the algorithm for those card numbers. And that's when you're going to have to start giving your thumbprint and the mark of the beast and all that kind of crap. But then you've got like your virtual wallets where, people at the bakery, they pay by tapping their iPhone on the thing. But it's an encrypted, it's Apple Pay, it's Samsung Pay. It's not giving them your credit card number. It's kind of like a PayPal transaction. It's going through a second party that links to that card number. And the whole world of payments is kind of gotten crazy. But because of all the fraud, they're coming up with different ways to try and combat the fraud, but then people will find a way around that and commit more fraud. And it's just, fraud will be the reason that they tell you got to get a chip in your arm. And then what happens? They start cutting off people's arms. You'd be going down, instead of like having to give up your wallet when you're getting robbed in a dark alley in the back streets of Chicago, they're cutting off your hand because your chip. And then they're just going to scan your hand. Someone's walking around with your hand hanging out of a coat, like somebody's wearing a long sleeve jacket with your hand sticking out, so that they can scan it over the grocery store chip thing and then toss your hand in the garbage can when they're done. You know what I'm saying? That's where we're headed. I used to work for a credit card processing company. The stuff they want to do is insane. But back in the day, in like the mid 90s, you could make up credit cards that didn't exist. And as long as they fit the algorithm, you could buy stuff with credit cards that they made apps. I'm not saying, I never did this, but I know how this all worked. They had apps you could download that would generate credit card numbers with a valid expiration date, and then you could go buy something with it. It may or may not be somebody's credit card, but it would pass the checks. And the stuff wasn't all in real time back then. The way you would get caught if you did that, if you ordered something that had to be mailed to you, you would have to have an abandoned house or something to drop off the packages at, because obviously if you buy stuff with a stolen credit card number and have it shipped to your house, the FBI's got your address, and it's going to be pretty open and shut case. But people were doing this. People were using it to pay for America Online and shit like that, internet bills and phone bills and things like that. Things that you could pay for online, people were using credit card number generators, and it was that simple. You just hit a button and it would go, here's a card number, here's an expiration date. They didn't have those 3-digit codes on the back and all the extra stuff. It would be very hard to do, but you could type in a bunch of random numbers and get lucky and actually have a valid credit card number. But you're talking about like a 1 in a million chance, but you could do it. But then you would have to have a valid expiration date that matches that card number. And there's algorithms that all tie that together and it can check. You can check for that stuff before you submit it to the card company. So if you're a if you have a website and you take credit card payments, you might notice that before you submit the payment, when you type in your credit card number, it knows right off the bat if it's a real credit card number or not. And it knows they'll sometimes spit back to you whether it's a Visa, MasterCard, Discover, etc. And it's because each card number has a certain format and a certain algorithm that it follows. And so you don't need to contact the Visa server to know whether this is a valid card or not. Your software on the process on your side of the system, the merchant side, they can tell before you even hit that submit button. They're just scanning the field as you type in the numbers. You miss one number, they know that it's not a valid card. They know not to even try to process it. And then there's a similar algorithm with the card number versus the date. They work together. I don't know how. I'm not smart enough to know how that shit works. But they know if it's a valid card number and then you type in a date, it instantly knows. It doesn't have to check. That's all built into the payment software. That's processing. That's called client-side processing, where that's actually being processed in your web browser to check whether or not that's a valid combination of numbers or not. And then after you hit the submit button for the payment, that's when it goes out to Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover, and they are checking it against everything. And then that system is checking your bank to check to see if your bank says it's okay. And your bank is telling them whether you have enough money or not. Or the credit card issuer is saying whether or not you have enough funds or enough credit to cover the cost. So it kind of hops around. But before you even hit that submit button on the payment form on a website, they don't even know. Like, you can type in a bunch of gibberish in those fields and it won't let you hit the submit button. And the person, the merchant, there's no record of that in the database. So if I go to Amazon, or if I go to Barnes and Noble and I go to buy a book and I get to the payment page and I just type in a bunch of random numbers, it won't even let me submit the thing. And like I said, that's not even being stored in a database. There's no record of that. That's in your web browser. The next step is validating the numbers, the date, the CV code, and all that stuff. It has to fit within a certain formula. And like I said, I'm not smart enough to know how that works. But there's a bunch of mathematical shit that they're checking, that this is a valid card number for Visa. This is a valid expiration date that matches up with this number, as in this number. And like, there's a date encoded into the number, or it's a range or something like that. Like, they're saying, yeah, this could be a valid expiration date for this card number. We know because the algorithm checked it and it makes sense. It vibes. The math all adds up. And then that CV code, you type it in and they're like, okay, yeah, okay, sure. Good enough. Now they send it to Visa. Now they send it out there. Now it's in a database. Now there's a record of you trying to do that with your IP address and everything else that was in your, and now they're going out there and they're saying, okay, yeah, this is a valid card number. Go contact the bank. Yeah, he's got the funds. Okay, let's check. Is the CV code the same? Yup. How about the zip code, the billing address? Does the zip code match what they say there it is in their bank? Yep, the zip code matches. We can check the phone number. Sometimes they check your phone number to see if it's the same. Sometimes they check your full address, not just the zip code, but your street address and everything. They can get deep with a validation of a credit card transaction. And so this bank that I have here in Houston, I just went to pay a bill on Tuesday when I got back from making my deposit, and I'm holding my old phone in my hand because I know better. I was expecting a problem, and it gets to the thing where it says processing your payment. I get a text message from my bank right then and there. Shit. So the bank says, we detected a possible fraudulent transaction, blah, blah, blah. Do you authorize this transaction? And I had to say yes, send. And then I'm watching my computer screen, and it says, we've successfully processed your transaction. So I had to, I just instinctively knew to pick up my phone, because I'm like, this bank pretty much flags anytime I pay somebody that I haven't paid before, boom, I get a fraudulent transaction alert from my bank on my phone. I have to answer it. If I don't answer it within 10 seconds, the transaction's going to fail. And then that's a problem. That's a pain in the ass to undo. Happens all the time with this bank. The other bank that I deal with, they don't care, which is good and bad, but I don't get that kind of hassle from the other bank. And I think it's overkill. I think that I have had fraudulent transactions on a bank account before. And the bank in Pittsburgh, when that happened, they refunded all my money, gave me a new card. There was no hassle involved. I had to go in and report it. And I did have a credit card once that had a bunch of fraudulent transactions show up, and I reported it, and they took them off, and that was easy enough to deal with. They know that this happens. The banks have gotten better. It used to be back in the day, if it was a debit card, they'd tell you to go eat crow. They wouldn't care. But the credit card companies, all you'd have to do is say this transaction's fraudulent, even if it wasn't, and they'll take it off of your bill. But then the banks, debit cards, they got the heat brought down on them for treating people like crap with all the credit card and card fraud going on. They pretty much had to turn around and say, okay, fine, well, but they take longer to give you your money back. Do they ever catch the fraudsters? Yeah. I'll tell you his prison story. So here's something that somebody did. I don't even remember the guy's name. I wish I could look this up because I would like to find more information, but this guy was in Pittsburgh. I got to think of how he did. What did he do? He didn't do credit card fraud. What he did, so you know that if you give somebody a check and they have your routing number and your account number, they can suck all the money out of your bank account. So you got to be careful with checks. Because you know how it is when you sign up for something or you do online payments now, you can use a credit card number or you can use a direct bank account, which is called an NSF transaction. Or no, is that what it's NSF is insufficient funds. I'm trying to think. What is it called when you do a check? E-check. There's a word. No, it's not e-check. ATF. It's killing me. ACH transaction, automated clearinghouse. So when you enter your routing number and account number and an amount that you're going to pay, like say you're paying your electric bill or something like that, they'll give you that option sometimes. Somebody could take your routing number, account number, they can run transactions on that. There are safeguards in place to help either prevent that from happening or say you might have to have one safeguard that they put in place is having to know the zip code and some other things about you, not just the account number and the routing number. Another safeguard that they might have in place is that they won't establish the link between the person that you're paying and the bank without them doing a test deposit to your bank. And then you have to go back and tell them how much they deposited. So they might make two deposits, one's 10 cents and one's 18 cents. And then you have to go back to that website and say, here are the two deposits that you made. And then that company will take the money back out of your account. But it's like a test to make sure that you're giving them a legitimate account number and routing number so that these transactions that you're putting back and forth are legitimate. But if you have an account number and a routing number, you can charge people money. And you can, so what this guy did, he went on the dark web and he bought thousands of routing numbers and account numbers. He just got a database. He got like a spreadsheet full of them. Then he got a fake ID, a completely fake identity, fake driver's license, social security number, all that stuff. He used the fake identity to open up fraudulent bank accounts on online banks, bank accounts where you can set up your account online. A lot of banks let you do this. So he set up like 15 or 20 different bank accounts with his fake identity, at which point he got cards, ATM cards, debit cards sent to him, probably to a fake address, a post office box. He probably went and set up a post office box somewhere to get this stuff sent to him. Maybe gave, I don't know, because it's not that easy to open up a bank account. You still have to have a physical address. But you get yourself a fake driver's license with a physical address, but you tell the bank, send my correspondence to this PO box, they will. So he had a PO box, got all these debit cards. The maximum you can withdraw with a debit card is about $2,000 to $3,000, $2,500 a day from an ATM. So the next thing he does, now he's got all these debit cards, fake bank accounts in a fake name with a fake ID, and he's got all of these routing numbers and account numbers. So he set up invoicing software like QuickBooks or some shit like that online. And these were all businesses. These were all business accounts. And he had thousands of them. And so he created invoices to all these businesses, thousands of them. And once a month, his billing software would bill all of these companies. But it would be a low amount. It would be like $99, $105.32. And it would be like a real small charge. So that if you're the bookkeeper at some big company, a big manufacturing company, and you're balancing your books at the end of the month, you see this little charge for $100. Oh, from this company. Okay, fine. You're just going to rubber stamp it and get your bookkeeping done. But he's doing this thousands of times a month. So now, and all of these different invoices are dropping money into all these different bank accounts. So at the end of the month, he's got 6 or 7 different bank accounts with $30,000 to $100,000 each. Then he takes all of the debit cards and he starts driving around the region. He takes one debit card, goes to an ATM, pulls out $2,500. A couple hours later, he's at another ATM, pulls out another $2,500 from a different account, goes to another ATM somewhere 20 miles away from that, puts in the third ATM card, gets out another $2,500. At the end of a day, he said he was making like he could pull $25,000 to $30,000 a day out of the ATMs by going around sticking a different card in a different machine and just juggling that around, pulling out the maximum amount. And the way he got caught, well, first of all these fraudulent transactions are starting to get reported to these banks, and they're all associated with a fake ID. So now he's seeing that these bank accounts are being closed. He goes to stick his card in a machine. card sucks the machine, doesn't give him any money, keeps his card. And, was he wearing a ski mask when he went to the thing? I don't know if he was that smart. Like, was he wearing sunglasses? I mean, this was all during the COVID scam. So he's probably going around with a mask on his face and some sunglasses and whatever. So you go up to the ATM, you put in your card, all of a sudden you find out, oh shit, they closed my account. Now you can't go back to the post office box anymore, because now the feds are going to be watching that, waiting for you to show up and open up your post office box. But he got caught because he kept going to the same ATM machines over and over again. And so the FBI started watching all these different bank accounts that they knew the fraudulent transactions were coming from. But basically the FBI told the bank, just let it go through. And they would sit in the parking lot undercover, waiting for him to show up and use an ATM that they knew he used 10 times already. And one day he comes pulling in, uses the ATM on one of those cards, and woo, and they got him. Because Jesus, how dumb can you be? You should have been just driving all over that. If you're making that much money, if you're pulling 30,000 a day out of ATMs, you may as well just drive to California and back and hit up a bunch on the way and a bunch on the, you may as well just make a road trip out of it. It's not like you can't afford a new car if your car breaks down. Oh, I got $30,000 cash in my pocket. I'll just go buy another car. You'll be able to get home if something goes wrong. But they're watching everything. Obviously, I don't think you should go through an ATM machine with your car, because the cameras are going to have your license plate. So you got to find ATM machines you can walk up to with a pair of sunglasses, a mask. You got to wear different clothes every time. So if you're going to go to 20 of them in a day, you may as well have 20 different hats, 20 different pair of sunglasses, a bunch of different masks, clothes, different shirts. You might want to mix it up and not go to the same ATM again. There's lots of ATMs. I don't think you would ever need to go to the same one twice, but you get lazy and complacent. Oh, they're not going to catch me. That's what happened to this dude. He was looking at, how much time did he get? I don't know. I was in this place in Ohio with this guy, and this is where you go when you're waiting for your trial. So he didn't have a trial yet. He was still in that pre-trial. When the feds lock you up, you can sit there for 5 to 10 years before you ever go to court. That whole, you have a right to a speedy trial. No, you don't. Technically you do, but if you exercise your right to a speedy trial, you're going to piss off the judge so bad, because he's going to have to cancel a fishing trip or something like that. And they're going to have to reschedule all the court hearings just because this guy wants to exercise his rights. And they're going to give you the maximum sentence. You're going to be found guilty, because you always are. It's 98% conviction rate. And after you're found guilty, because you wasted our time and didn't do you didn't follow the program, you're getting the maximum sentence. And that could be the difference between 2 years and 15 years on a federal case. So I don't know. He was waiting. He kept asking me questions about, if my hard drive is encrypted, can they get into my computer? And I didn't know all the answers to his questions. If I used a VPN, can they trace it back to me? And, different things. He was asking me different tech questions, because supposedly they didn't have everything they needed for discovery to be able to prove everything that they were trying to prove. And he was concerned about whether they could get what they were looking for if they pushed a little bit harder to get it. And I didn't know the answer to all his questions. But yeah, this is really funny. And this guy was a little bit of a lunatic. But I'm going to say he was looking at maybe 6 to 10 years in federal prison. I know another guy who started an investment company. He worked as a broker in a large brokerage. I want to say it was in New York City. I don't know. Don't even remember this guy's name. He got, he stole, he basically took a whole bunch of people. He started an investment company of his own, and he took a bunch of investors' money and just blew it. Didn't invest it, just took it. It was like something like $2-3 million worth. And then he finally got caught because all these investors were like, where the fuck is our money? And he finally got brought in on it. And I was there when he got sentenced. He got sentenced to like 4.5 years in federal prison. He had already served like 2 years of it while he was waiting for his court date. And that was after a guilty plea. But he got his, I don't even know if I can explain the points system, but there's a certain points system. There's different points systems that they use for different things. And there's this one point system based on the severity of your crime. It tells you what kind of jail you're going to. Adam Kenneth Campbell says, I sent you money and it was sent back. I don't know anything about it. Are you one of these people that we're talking about today, these financial fraudsters? I don't know. Let me take a look. Did you use that screen name or did you use a different screen name? So I can look up. I can look up certain things about it, but I can't look up individual transactions as far as I'm aware. Let's see here. Supers. No, I see them. I mean, I see a bunch of super chats from August 21st, which was last week, July 24th. I see 2 from August 21st. One was $10, one was $5. One was from One in the Pink, One in the Stink. The other one was JS. So I can see these individual super chat donations and tell you what dates they were. But I've been getting the money. I mean, I didn't see my earnings go down or anything, but YouTube takes 30% of what you make. So they got money, it's money they're throwing away. So if you give me $1, YouTube takes 30 cents of that. If you go to donate.litgood.com, which is a real credit card processor, they take 3% instead of 30. So if somebody gives me $1, I get 97 cents, they take 3 cents. 3% is the standard for credit card companies to take from a merchant. But YouTube, anything they give you or anything people give you, they take 30%, even from the ad revenue and everything. And they kind of tell you it's hard to, but yeah, my revenue didn't change. Like, I don't see it. Oh, one super chats I sent. Well, it's good to know. But I do see, I mean, now I'm curious. Super chats. So One in the Pink, I see 1, 2, 3, 4. I see one for $10. I see one for $1.99. I see one for $4.99. And I see another one for $4.99. You could send me a private message and tell me what dates that was. It's adam@litgood.com if you're just curious. But I see that they're here in my list of transactions. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are doing it to people they don't like. YouTube is nothing but a bunch of shysters and scam artists. That, donate.litgood.com, my digital chicken bucket. Here, I'll show it to you since I can share my screen. I always forget I can do that. So if you go here and give it a second. So here's my digital chicken bucket. If you throw something in there, it's 3%. I lose 3% instead of 30. And somebody puts $20 in that chicken bucket, I get the money the next morning. So YouTube, when YouTube does that, oops. Yeah, so when YouTube gives you, when you get money from YouTube, you have to have at least $100 in your account and at the end of the month. And then if you have at least $100 in your AdSense account, then they pay you on the 20th of the following month. And it's quick. I mean, the actual transaction, when I get an email saying we paid you, the bank shows that it's there. But with the digital chicken bucket, it's a credit card processing company. Somebody puts $20 in there, it shows up the very next morning. Like it could be 6 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, Wednesday morning, there's money in my bank account. They take 3%. So 3 cents for every dollar. So, and that's every YouTube creator. That's not just me. I'm not complaining about it. I mean, YouTube sucks. But I am going to look into that now that you brought that up, because I'm like, In fact, I'm going to look at Grok. What does Grok have to say? Let me see this. I'm going to see what Grok has to say. Does this happen a lot? Because I got a lot of good information from Grok when it came to the whole shadow banning and stuff. Yeah, there is. I could set up a PO box. I guess I've been moving around so much, and I'm riding a bicycle everywhere and whatnot. So the closest post office is like a 3-mile ride each direction, I believe, and it's a post office. I don't like going in government buildings, but let's see here. I'm gonna ask Grok, and I'm gonna share my screen. Why not? It's fun. I like doing this. Okay, share my screen. You gave me some good information about YouTube. Now the viewers telling me that Super Chat, they have made and they believe that it is because does not like my channel. And this is all part of the shadow ban. Is this a common practice? Okay, let's see what Grok says. Pink in the Stink says, I came in late. Did you get that money you were expecting? Yes. It showed up in the mail on Tuesday. I deposited it into my bank account, and the bank has put a hold on it. But that hold I've got 80% of the funds available now, and I have to wait until next Thursday to get the rest of it unlocked. So YouTube's official stance is that Super Chat, Super Stickers, and Super Thanks are voluntary, non-refundable payments, except in cases of unauthorized transactions, such as those made with a stolen credit card or by somebody accessing an account without permission. However, there have been instances where Super Chat donations were refunded, and some creators and viewers have speculated that this could be tied to content moderation or platform bias, even though concrete evidence linking refunds directly to shadow banning is scarce. Cases and patterns, unauthorized charges and refunds. YouTube's policy allows refunds for unauthorized super chats, such as when a viewer disputes a charge, etc. Moderation of super chats. YouTube moderates super chats and super stickers to ensure community guidelines. If a super chat message violates policies, contains hate or inappropriate conduct, it may be removed, and YouTube donates its portion of the revenue to charity. In one notable case, YouTube refunded $27,000 in super chat donations from a charity stream hosted by a controversial channel, The Ralph Report, after reports of racist messages attached to the donations. This suggests YouTube may refund donations tied to problematic content, but it's unclear if this extends to broader channel targeting without policy violations. Let me pop that up a little bigger. Chargebacks and fraud. Some viewers intentionally issue chargebacks through their payment providers, PayPal or credit cards, after making super chat donations, often to gain attention during a stream and then reclaim their money. This has been reported on platforms like Reddit, with creators noting that such chargebacks can affect their earnings, though YouTube doesn't charge creators a fee for those. The practice is more about viewer behavior than YouTube's moderation or shadow banning. Shadow banning and refunds connection. What do they got here? There's no direct evidence in the provided information or broader discussions that YouTube systematically refunds super chats as part of a shadow ban. Shadow banning typically involves reduced visibility of videos, comments, or channels in search results, recommendations, or feeds without formal notification. However, creators on Reddit and other forums have speculated that YouTube's algorithm might flag channels with controversial content, potentially leading to stricter moderation of associated super chats. Viewer reports of refunds could stem from YouTube's automated systems flagging transactions due to content concerns, but this is speculative and not a widely documented practice. And then I don't know. It does say while super chat refunds and shadow banning are real issues, there's no strong evidence that YouTube systematically refunds donations as part of a shadow ban, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do at all. So I just think that that's more of a, you don't know what they're doing. I can show you a couple of things that I've discovered. Okay, here, I forget how to do it, but I'll share my screen again, but I got to do an incognito window so that I come into YouTube without being logged in. And I'll show you, here's something you can check. And you can check any channel. This is a way to check to see if a channel might be shadow banned. So you go to youtube.com, and I'm not logged in, so there's no bias here. It's telling me I got to sign in and everything. So if I type in my username, Redeeming Light, if I type in my username, nothing shows up. A church shows up, some other stuff. You go down this page, nothing shows up by searching for the channel screen name directly. Now, another guy who also is kind of shadow banned, Prepper Nurse 1. Type in his username. Boom, shows right up. All of his videos in the search results. In fact, his channel banner show up at the top and not. If Refashioned Hippie, she just got banned and reinstated. Boom. When you type in someone's username, that's what you're supposed to see at the top. If you type in the username that's after the @ symbol, now you see this girl shows right up. Not just one channel, but two of her channels show right up. And a bunch of her videos show up. Now, if you type in my name, now you see all my videos. You see that here's the live stream right here that we're watching right now. The thumbnail image, when I mouse over it, is showing the stream as I'm talking to you. So it's there. All my videos are popping up. Mixed in with some other videos. And there's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if there are videos that pop up from the news stories for the rest. But that's kind of gotten buried here on YouTube. But if you type in my name, you see all this stuff. But not if you see my... You type in my username. Oh, if you type in the @ symbol, it shows up. But if you take out the @ symbol, it doesn't show anything. And that there could be a million different reasons for that, but that's one thing that they say happens when they shadow ban you, that you will not see your channel show up when you type in your username. So Prepper Nurse 1. The thing I like about him is videos popping up, but I don't see his channel banner popping up at the top. And he is banned. This dude's got 106,000 subscribers, and his video about 1,000 views, sometimes less. How do you have 106,000 subscribers and you struggle to get 1,000 views on a video? It's because he started talking about COVID being a scam and all these different things that YouTube don't want. So they put the kibosh on his channel. He stopped. I mean, I watched this guy quite a bit, and I've heard him talk about the loss of revenue that he's experienced ever since YouTube shadow banned him. And then there's one more thing you can do. So if I go to my channel homepage, so I can go right to my channel homepage, and you see here's my channel, all my videos. If I click on this video link, you can see all of these different videos that I've posted all the way back. Boy, there's a lot of these comeback videos. But you can get all the way back to lived in the tool shed and when I was homeless, and here's some of these and homeless videos. They're all there. So now there's a mode called restricted mode. So here, right here, you go up to this menu at the top right corner. Restricted mode is, so what it does is it will hide. So like, let's say you're at the library. Yeah, Angels in Our Midst says she remembers Prepper Nurse 1. I used to watch him back in the day, and then I stopped watching him for a while, and then I started again because he was going along with the whole COVID thing. And then one day he realized it was a scam, and he started telling everybody it's bullshit. And that's when they put the slam dunk on his channel. But anyway, this restricted mode, this will simulate what people see. Like, let's say you're at the library, and this used to happen at the Jamestown Library. If you're at the library, you're on a public Wi-Fi, or you're at your job or something like that, and the network administrator has turned on parental controls, this is what you would see on my YouTube channel. Almost, look at all the videos that disappeared when I turned on restricted mode. 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Here's another one from 3 months ago. Here's one video from the tool shed. Here's all these ones that I recorded at my friend's house. Here's a few homeless. 104, day 103, 95. It goes from 92 to 89. So all these videos disappear when you turn on that restricted mode view. And so basically what this does, it's probably because I swear all the time and I use foul language. And so there are automated systems out there. When I was at the Jamestown Library, there were certain YouTube channels that wouldn't show up. I'd have to turn on a VPN and then go to YouTube, and I'd be able to watch and look at everything I wanted to look at. But the library would block stuff. I mean, if I wanted to go watch porn at the library, you'd probably not be able to look at any porn websites at the library, for good reason, obviously. But you can turn on a VPN and go to any website you want, because according to the library, they don't know where you are. They don't know where you're going. So, so you turn on, go to a channel that you think is being shadow banned in incognito mode, turn on restricted mode, and watch how many videos disappear. You can see that more than half of the videos I've recorded magically disappear when you hit that button. 100 and something of these chaos to comeback thumbnails, and all of them disappeared except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of about 100. And I can look right now. I can tell you right now how many there are. Just give me a second. Thumbnail images. 175. But some of them haven't gone live yet. So we're 175 of them are live. So out of 75 videos, YouTube's blocking all of them but 5. So 170 of them have been blocked by YouTube by saying that something's wrong with the content. So when you turn restricted mode on, nobody sees them. And so those are just different things that I've learned that you can do, not just my channel, but if you go to another channel and you want to find out if that person's shadow banned, look up their screen name in the search box, go to their page and turn on restricted mode right up here in that top corner. Other things that you can look at the number of subscribers versus the number of views. Prepper Nurse 1 has 106,000 subscribers, and he gets 1,000 views on a video if he's lucky. I was getting 3,000 views on a video when I had 100 subscribers. So there's something wrong there. And there's a lot of different things that you can look at. I could show you my Google Analytics and show you right when the shadow ban started. It was the day that I started talking about the COVID scam, and all of a sudden my video had a warning underneath that YouTube put under the video, and it said, Adam's not telling you the truth. COVID's not a scam. The CDC says this and the CDC says that. Take your shots. And I looked at my Google Analytics and they went off a cliff. I was getting 30,000 impressions on every new video I posted, which that's the number of random people that they show your video thumbnail to who may or may not click on it. My impressions went that day. They went from 30,000 every day to about 1,000. And then they dropped again. Every time I would say something that YouTube would get mad about and either give me like a red $, which means your video can't be monetized, or they would put a warning on it, or they've never banned a video. They've never blocked a video that I've posted. Not one. I have not had a video get deleted yet. Not one time. But they'll make it so that nobody will see it. They'll make it so that they've got it locked so that my channel count, my subscriber count hit 1,240. And it's been like that for 15 months. When I started the channel, I got 1,000 subscribers in 60 days. 60 days I had 1,000 subscribers, when they say that the average YouTube channel takes 15 months of constant work to get their first 1,000 subscribers. And then it hit 1,200 when I came to Houston, and it's been 1,200, 1,240, give or take 5, 1,235 up to 1,245. And it's been stuck there for 15 months straight. So I don't know. I think the next thing I might do, you see how hard it is for me to do. Maybe I put up like 10 videos where I just don't swear, don't say any cuss words. Just don't swear. Like, let me just see if I do 10 videos where I don't swear, does the algorithm pick up on that and start giving me some more play? I don't know. I can say a lot of stuff without an F-bomb every 10 seconds, but, you know, it's just who I am. It's hard, but I can do it. I mean, I go to work and I don't swear for 8 hours a day, so I can do it. Adam Kenneth Campbell, which is my alias, somebody's just trolling us, Many times creators can have 100,000 subs and only 1K view per video because people subscribe to channels and forget to unsubscribe after a few months despite not watching anymore. And that's true. And that's true. I mean, I've done that. I subscribe to tons of channels. But part of the reason why you might subscribe to a channel and then not watch it after 3 months is because you forgot about it, and YouTube never, ever, ever puts any of their videos in front of you. You click on one video. So there's Adam West shorts, like Batman videos popping up. I clicked on one. What's Catwoman? What was her name? Julie what the fuck was her name? What was her name? Come on. Julie Newmar, the original Catwoman from the Adam West Batman show. Couple of videos popped up in my feed of Catwoman hitting on Batman or something. It was the YouTube shorts. I clicked on one or two of them. All of a sudden, every day for a month, the entire feed, my YouTube feed, is full of Adam West Batman clips. And I don't really give that much of it. I don't give a crap about it. I just clicked on a random thing one day, and YouTube was like, oh, keep sending them. And now I'm seeing nothing but, I will log into YouTube and I'll see 50 Adam West Batman clips, and I don't give a crap about it. They'll do that. YouTube, you'll click on one video, and all of a sudden you'll get bombarded with 1,000 more of videos like that. Breaking Bad is the new one. I clicked on one there was a thing that came up that said, check out this scene from Breaking Bad. I'm like, yeah, I love that show. I want to watch that again. And it was a really good scene. Now when I log into YouTube, I see 500 video clips. Hey, check out this scene from Breaking Bad. You could probably watch all 8 or 9 seasons with these YouTube clips that they're putting in front of me, one after the next after the next. There'll be 50 of them in my feed now every day. I don't even subscribe to a channel that has these clips in it. It was just something I clicked on one day because, oh, wow, I'll click on. You never know what you're going to click on. I clicked on some mountain bike stunt, and then I clicked on some dude jumping off a flight of stairs with a skateboard, and then I clicked on a Batman video, and then I clicked on a Breaking Bad scene. And all of a sudden they think I want to watch all 9 seasons of Breaking Bad and every single clip and every single thing that ever happened. Yet the channels I subscribe to, they never show up. If I watch a channel that I subscribe to once or twice, then that channel's videos will pop up in my feed more and more. But I have to go to the subscriptions link to see the channels I subscribe to. And I would be willing to believe that not everything I subscribe to shows up there, even though it's supposed to. But if I'm looking for something really looking for some variety, and I just want to click on this subscriptions link and just see what's the newest stuff from the people I actually subscribe to, I may or may not. And okay, so that's not even showing me. It's showing me the subscriptions, but it's not showing me the videos. There is a way. Here it is, subscriptions at the top. The app is different, but there's a way you click on it. You will see it should be in chronological order. Every channel that you subscribe to, every video that's in the order from most recent post to all, moving backwards in time. But it should show you every channel you subscribe to. So you might scan through that and say, oh, I forgot about that guy. Oh, I forgot about this. That's cool. Oh, yeah, I see a bunch. I'm looking at it right now. Just a bunch of different people that I subscribe to, but I haven't seen it pop up in my feed. East Tennessee Preparedness. I haven't watched that guy's videos in forever. Mike Zero, the Star Wars guy, but now that Star Wars is done, he's doing celebrity commentary. I'm not even that. I don't even care about that. Oh, there's a guy, Joshua Fluke. If you want to laugh your ass off, this guy, he used to work for corporate America and he turned into a LinkedIn troll, and he makes millions of dollars on YouTube blasting corporations that treat people like garbage at work. And it's funny. He is a funny guy. I haven't seen his videos pop up in my feed, but here it is on the subscription channel. Said he just posted a video 4 hours ago. So I will see. But let's say I subscribe, or let's say I have a channel that I subscribe to, and they haven't posted a video for a couple of weeks. You'll click on that subscriptions button and you'll never see them, because I'm scrolling way 10 screens deep on this page, and I'm seeing videos that were posted 9 hours ago, because I subscribe to so many channels just for variety's sake. If I like someone's video, I'll hit the subscribe. So that subscriptions page, it's really you're only going to have the patience to go through about 24 hours ago. And there might be a way to change the sort order here. I don't see any way to change the sort order, but you can change the way that you're viewing it. Oh, these are shorts. I don't want that. Subscriptions. Come on, YouTube. Yeah, well, you can manage it, but is that just to manage the subscriptions? Yeah, so you can't even change the sort order on that page. So it's only going to show you the people you subscribe to, I guess, if they want you to see it. And on top of that, it's going to be in reverse chronological order. You're going to be 25 screens deep and only see stuff from 24 hours ago, because somebody is posting new stuff. If you subscribe to 100 channels, some of those people are posted within the last 24 hours. Some people post something every day. So, yeah, there's definitely some good ways to see what's going on. Angels in the Midst says, they don't. I have feverishly searched for a couple of small channels I subscribed to, and I cannot find them. Yeah, they may be gone. YouTube deletes people all the time. That guy, Richie from Boston, that I talk about here and there, he had like 6 YouTube channels, and they deleted all of them except for one. And then that was back in 2020 when they deleted all of his channels. And sometime within the last 3 or 4 months, they gave him all his channels back. After like 4 years of being kicked off, they reinstated all of his channels. So they either kicked somebody off, they blocked them from showing up in the search engine results. The biggest way that they can throttle your channel is by turning off your impressions. Because if you don't show up in feeds, nobody knows you're there. You know, it's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, will it make a sound? If a guy posts a video on YouTube and nobody sees the thumbnail, will it exist? No, it won't. So that's the biggest way that they can shut you off, and they can do it in the snap of a finger. I could probably show that without giving up any personal stuff. I'm just going to see if I can queue something up here. Content. Impressions. And we could go lifetime. Lifetime's fine. All right, yeah, I can show that. Let me take a look here. There's nothing. Yeah, I'll show that. I'll share my screen. Since we got a few people left, I'm going to get off here pretty soon, but I'll show this just as an example. I don't know if I can make this bigger. Let me see. Can I bump that up a little bit? Yeah, well, not really. But okay, here is my channel. These are the number of impressions, which is, according to them, how many times your video thumbnails were shown to viewers. Includes only impressions on YouTube, not on external sites. So this is the random people that they show your video thumbnail to when they're just showing your channel to people. So I'm homeless. I get a few hundred, all of a sudden, boom, 22,000. All of a sudden, boom, 29,000, 36,000, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, right around here is when I started talking about the COVID being a scam. Boom, now you're down to 7,000. And they never let me come back from that. They bumped it up a little bit. And every time I would say something they don't like, it drops, it drops, it drops again, it drops again, it drops again. Now it drops even more. And then I moved to Houston and I'm not homeless anymore. Boom, 3,000. Now I'm in Houston. Now I've been in Houston for about a week. We're down to 1,000 impressions and it just flatlines. Here's my channel all the way from the beginning of September, all the way until February. This is when I moved into the tool shed. You're like, oh, we'll give you a little bump. You changed your thumbnail, you moved into a tiny house. Maybe you'll start doing tiny house videos and people will like watching you. Nope. Dropped it back down to nothing, some more. And then right here is where I moved. So all these people were waiting for me to move and they were checking on June 1st to see if I had moved into a new place. And we'll give him 28,000 impressions that day since that many people are interested to see if he moved into his new place. And then, fuck it, we're just going to drop him again. So that's my impressions. That's what they've done. That's right there. I get a 5.2 click-through rate on my impressions, which is actually funny because it shows over time, the more people click on the impressions now than they did back then when I was getting a lot. Average view duration has gone up. When I was homeless, it was 3 minutes per video. Now it's getting up to like half an hour. Here's another one, 30 minutes and 37 seconds. My average view duration goes up over time because the audience is actually here to watch the videos. In the beginning, people were just clicking on it, watching it for a minute and going, nah, I don't want to watch this. Views have gone down the toilet, but view duration goes up. And there's all kinds of, there's a whole bunch more. Watch time has gone up and down. You can see that. Subscribers, you can see all the subscribers came in the beginning and then boom, flat line, nothing. And then, whoops. I accidentally closed the wrong window on that. That's why I disappeared. I was going to say goodbye to everybody and, thank you for coming to watch and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think people in the beginning were watching because I was homeless and they're like, oh, let's watch this train wreck. And then I ended up not being homeless. And, I say controversial things and I don't really care because, I realized one day that I could brown nose and kiss everybody's ass and crawl around on my hands and knees begging for forgiveness, pray and worship every day and never swear and, never say anything wrong and go out and do charity work every day and just, be a good person and nobody will ever give me a job. I can't get a job at Burger King, can't get a job at McDonald's. Any company that's going to do a background check, they won't let me do DoorDash. They won't let me pick up a bag of food and take it somewhere. But the DoorDash drivers, they don't deliver the food either because I deal with them all the time. And I would be a much better DoorDasher than the DoorDash people that we have, but they won't give me the time of day. And so at that point, it's like, why bother? Like, I don't have to worry about, back when I was working for corporate America and I had my golden handcuffs on and I had to watch what you say because if somebody sees your video, you could lose your job, you could lose your career, all that stuff. I don't have to worry about that anymore. My whole life is ruined. So I can say whatever I want. At least that's one of the benefits. I don't have to worry about being canceled when I was already canceled. So with that, it's almost 8:30 and my voice is starting to go and I'm going to grab some orange juice and relax. And thank you all for coming out tonight. I will look into that. As far as I'm aware, the people that left super chats and stuff, I see that in my reports. So if you got your money sent back to you, I don't know. You can send me a private message, adam@litgood.com, if you want to look at it some more. I can look it up and kind of see if something's going on there. But it's also, donate.litgood.com is a place to go. That's the digital chicken bucket. Those that's totally fine. That works perfectly. But I don't care. If you guys want to be a channel member, that's cool. If you want to not be a channel member, that's cool. I'm good to go. I just turned usually I turn these things on when other people ask me to. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope y'all have a good week. I might start popping up with some live streams randomly throughout the week over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to move into, I talked about this earlier in the videos. I'm going to try and change it up a little bit on the channel and do different things. Edited videos that are better, but less frequent, but better and more thought out and not timely, not based on a certain date and time. And then I'll give you the updates about what's going on in life by just doing a live stream, because that's basically what I'm doing when I sit in front of a phone and talk to you guys anyway. I'm not editing those. I just turn on the phone and talk. So why not just do a live stream? It doesn't matter. And then you get the update right then, live. So that will calm people. Some people got a little upset, and not that I care. I'm just trying to think of ways to make the channel better, because that's what I want to do. It's not because people are telling me to. But anyway, it's been cool. Thank you all for coming out. And I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll talk again next week. Peace out.